She walked into the most expensive restaurant in town wearing torn shoes and a faded sweater. The staff stared, some even laughed quietly, but she didn't care. All she wanted was to meet the man her best friend said might change her life. What? No one expected was that the man waiting at the table, the CEO in an Italian suit worth more than her yearly rent, would stand up the moment he saw her and smile. What happens next will touch your heart in ways you never imagined. Stay with me till the end, because this story will remind you that love sees beyond appearances. And hey, before we begin, if you believe in love that comes from the soul, hit that like button and subscribe to Hopeful Stories for more tales that heal hearts and inspire hope. Rain poured down on the city, washing away the day's noise, but for Lena, each drop echoed her doubts. Her friend Mia had begged her to go on this blind date. "Just one dinner," Mia had said. "He's kind, successful, and maybe he's what you've been waiting for." But as Lena looked at herself in the cracked mirror of her small apartment, she almost laughed. What kind of man would want her? A woman who worked double shifts at a diner, whose clothes smelled faintly of detergent and coffee? She didn't even own a decent dress. Yet something inside her, perhaps hope, perhaps foolishness, told her to go. She reached the restaurant 15 minutes late. The warm glow of chandeliers and the scent of roses hit her as soon as she stepped in. Eyes turned, some in confusion, some in disgust. Her old sweater clung to her shoulders, her shoes were wet, and her hair was tied back with a frayed ribbon. "Excuse me, miss," the hostess began hesitantly. "I'm not sure," but before she could finish, a deep voice called from a corner table. "She's with me." That was Ethan Grant, the CEO of one of the largest companies in the city, the man people whispered about in magazines. He stood up, eyes soft but curious, as if he saw something no one else could. Lena froze. "You're Ethan?" she stammered. "I'm sorry, I didn't know." "Sit," he said gently, smiling. "Please." Throughout dinner, Lena could barely touch her food. Ethan asked about her life, her dreams, her family. She answered honestly, too tired to pretend. "I used to want to paint," she admitted, eyes downcast. "But life, it doesn't always let you chase dreams." Ethan listened as though her words were the most valuable thing in the world. Not once did he mention his wealth or company. When she finally excused herself, embarrassed by her reflection in the mirror of the restaurant restroom, tears welled up. "He must think I'm pathetic," she whispered to herself. But when she returned to the table, she found him waiting outside the restaurant in the rain, holding 2 cups of coffee. "I figured you'd feel more comfortable out here," he said, offering her one. "Sometimes the world inside those walls forgets what real life looks like." For the first time in years, Lena laughed. It was soft, uncertain, but real. They talked for hours under the awning until the rain stopped. When she left that night, she didn't think he'd call again. But the next morning, her old phone buzzed with a message. "Had a wonderful time. Same place tomorrow. No dress code. Just you." And somehow, for the first time in a long time, Lena smiled at her reflection. Ethan Grant wasn't used to being intrigued. He'd met people who wanted his money, his fame, his name, but never someone like Lena. She had nothing to prove and nothing to hide. Her simplicity was her armor. He couldn't stop thinking about the way her eyes glowed when she talked about painting, even though she hadn't touched a brush in years. The next evening, she came again, this time wearing the same old sweater, but her hair was neatly brushed and there was a small flower tucked behind her ear. "I told you," she said nervously when she saw his suit. "No dress code." Ethan chuckled. "And you kept your word. That's rare." Over the next few weeks, their meetings became routine. Coffee at the park, cheap diners, walks by the river. Lena slowly opened up. She told him about the years she spent taking care of her ill mother, the art scholarship she gave up, the small dreams she buried under bills and responsibilities. Ethan, in turn, told her about his loneliness, the way people treated him like a brand, not a person. One afternoon, as they sat near the water, Ethan asked, "If you could paint again, what would you paint first?" She smiled faintly. "The look on your face when you first saw me," she said, "because you didn't flinch." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He realized he had fallen in love with her kindness, her strength, her honesty. He didn't care about the clothes, the status, or the whispers. He only cared about the way she made the world quieter. Weeks later, he invited her to an art gallery opening. She hesitated, fearing she didn't belong there. But when she arrived, her jaw dropped. On the center wall hung a massive painting, a portrait of a woman sitting by a window wearing a faded sweater, light catching her eyes. The plaque beneath read, "The woman who reminded me what beauty means." Tears rolled down her cheeks. Ethan walked up beside her, whispering, "I told you I'd help you see your dreams again. But the truth is, you helped me see mine." From that day forward, Lena and Ethan built something real. He helped her open a small art studio in the city, where she taught children from poor families to paint because she knew what it felt like to have nothing but hope. Their love story became a quiet legend, not of glamour, but of grace. A reminder that sometimes the most beautiful hearts hide behind worn-out clothes, and the richest souls are found in the humblest places. So, if you believe that true love still exists, that kindness can change a heart, that hope can find you when you least expect it, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories. Because here, we share the tales that remind us the world still has good people, and that love, in all its forms, is always worth believing in.